I've suffered with absolutely debilitating sciatica. Completely bedbound, almost addicted to painkillers for a while. Had withdrawal symptoms when I came off the painkillers after about almost 8 months kind of stuff. A lot of the videos I've looked online about training with sciatica is usually people think, I've got a little bit of pain, oh there's a little bit of tingling. I'm talking about the kind of pain where you can't even lie down in bed without just gobbling high dose painkillers and diazepam to stop your back going into spasm all the time. Anyway, I had that 2 years ago. Bedbound for a whole month, very close to getting spinal surgery. Pretty much the day before the spinal surgery, kind of got better enough to be able to walk. Doctor said, if you can walk and just take painkillers, we're not going to do spinal surgery on you because there's a chance that you'll be paralysed. So I was like, I'll go with that. Anyway, after all that, I got to cycling, got to running, but sciatica destroyed my physique that I had at the time. I was at the gym all the time, lifting heavy weights, and it was through a combination of a car crash, a niggling back pain, and then a bad exercise, a bad deadlift, that something twinged. I was like, I can deal with that, kept on going to the gym, ignoring pain, and then that's when it just went full, the bit of my spine, it just didn't have a happy day, and then I was completely destroyed. Anyway, it took almost 2 years. So if you're suffering debilitating sciatica, if you've injured yourself in the gym or a car accident or a climbing accident or anything, have the mental idea that it may be taking you up to a year, maybe even 2 before you can get better. But the thing is, don't worry, you can get better. You may be in total agony just now, you may be waking up 5 times during the night and just taking painkillers to knock yourself out, but it will get better. So I had a herniated disc pushing against the nerve, meant I couldn't even drive my car because you couldn't stretch your leg out to put down the foot on the clutch. It was that painful. And strangely, it randomly moved from my right leg to from my left leg to my right leg at different points during the healing process. And the healing process isn't obvious. So in other words, you can be in pain, and then over the space of a week, you're like, oh, I don't need to take painkillers. This is different. This is good. So you may be 6 months in, 7 months in, going, I'm still in agony. But do you know what? It could just be 1 month later, things get better. But so anyway, it destroyed my physique. Couldn't go running, couldn't go cycling. Cycling is quite an active sport. You really do have to push left and right, especially if you go mountain biking. I got into road cycling. So these mountain bikes in the past don't get used anymore. It's all road cycling now. And I got into the kind of the bit more endurance stuff. Got back into hill running. Felt good. Hill running, best way to get your fitness back with the least amount of pounding. So you're just going up a hill, heart rate goes through the roof. You've got your fitness benefit there. However, over that time, I haven't had the chance to do any weights, any weightlifting, because that is terrifying. The thought of putting pressure on your spine there is just a no-go. So, but I'm back into it. For the last 2 weeks, I went to the gym about 6 months ago. I was like, ooh, I enjoy this. And I enjoy the feeling of being strong. It's great, the pump. That's good. And then I went again about a month later, one more time a month later. Then I thought, let's buy some stuff for the garage. So I bought myself a gym and some weights to try and have that ability to just do little exercises all the time. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get to the point here. I'll put a timestamp here at around about 4 minutes saying this is where I get to the point, what exercises to do. There's some exercises which I would recommend if you're suffering sciatica, don't do anything. Recover. Wait until you're fully recovered. If you're fully recovered, but you're nervous and you don't want to twinge your back and you don't want to be bedbound and possibly have to give up work or not be able to drive or have your family go into total nightmare because of the constant pain that you're in, but you want to get some strength back, these are the exercises which I'm doing which haven't irritated anything at all. There's a lot of even my physio was like, if you want to do exercise, sometimes just take painkillers and do exercise. The benefit you get from the exercise will be better than the not doing exercise and just being in pain anyway. So But if you're at the point where you're still having to take anti-inflammatories and all that stuff, hold off. Wait until you've got to the point where you're like, I'm good, and then start light. Okay, I'll put another timestamp here because I've chatted way too much again. Okay, 5 minutes in. Here are the exercises which I recommend doing. They're not your normal ones. First one is the front squat. So with the back squat, you can lift huge weights, and if you throw in a weightlifting belt to hold your gut in, you can lift monumental weights. Can you see that? Because when you then go, when you compress, it compresses everything around here, causes a lot of inter-abdominal, lots of pressure around here, which helps you lift more. However, that's giving you a bit of I would say, a fake strength. What I would highly recommend is going lighter and doing exercises which involve using your core a lot more and your stability as well. So again, lifting heavy weights is going to be difficult, but work on things that require balance. Use or unbalanced exercises. There's quite a lot of research, not necessarily research, but a lot of exercise people talk about doing stuff which is off balance to help you in some magical way. So anyway, the first one I highly recommend is the front squat, but specifically, I'll just have to put you back here. When doing the front squat, I would highly recommend doing it, first of all, with no belt, and secondly, no hands. Ooh, so no-handed, beltless front squat. The benefit of the front squat is that your back has to stay pretty much straight up. Let's see if I can do this at an angle, if you can see my back. And the reason why I say no hands, the reason why I say with no hands is because a lot of people can have their hands, their elbows up, a lot of people start dropping their elbows and more elbows, and then they're holding it by effectively their hands. Wow, it's suddenly got bright. Let's drag you down there. So a lot of people end up just holding it with their hands almost. It's almost like a, if your elbows are down there, that's not beneficial, because then you can start leaning over, and do a front squat like that. And that's just curving your back. If you have to do it with no hands, your shoulders have to stay up. And if your shoulders start to drop, and by that forcing your arms up the way, you're working much more of your upper back area. So yeah, the front squat, think of it less about working your thighs, but more working your bum, your core, and your upper back, which is what a lot of people forget, that the front squat, massive upper back exercise. So with this one, it keeps your back nice and straight, it keeps your elbows up by not having your hands on it, going no hands, and it's a much lighter weight, but it requires much more strength in your upper back for you to do. So it really works your core and your stability muscles here. So this is how I do a workout. Get into position, make sure your feet are happy, hands forward, and then squat, ass to grass all the time. I highly recommend going ass to grass. Also, having front squats like this, you're less likely to have a butt wink, where your bum squishes underneath like that. Butt winks can irritate sciatica nerves as well. So there. Let's see what it looks like with a slightly heavier weight. So for me at the moment, 60 kilograms is kind of where I want to be. Again, back squat with a belt, could probably do 100, not a problem. But once you're in position, arms up, really works your, there's no bending forward, you cannot bend forward. And it really works your abs when you're having to pull up. So again, deep breath in. That gets the heart rate up. Yeah, Definitely works the core. You have to breathe it in, hold your tummy as much as you can, and up there, definitely working your shoulders and your trap muscles there. So that's exercise number 1. The next one I would recommend is for your shoulders, and that is single-handed dumbbell press. Again, this is something which your body has to stay in a good position for you to do. So there's no way of like bending over or leaning over. So it won't be putting any shear or twisting pressure on your spine wherever you've got the herniated disc. Now, apart from just doing single-handed, the reason why I say single-handed is it additionally works your spine muscles and tummy muscles as well whenever you're doing it. However, there's one extra part I would add. And that is, do it on one foot. Again, as I said earlier, there's a lot of research about unbalanced stuff. So don't hold on to anything, that's cheating, but just go one foot up, and you'll feel your foot moving around, but just, and you'll feel it. You have to do it slower. You can't just use brute force for it. You have to use strength and balance and coordination, and I can feel things going on in my leg while I'm doing this. Certainly my foot, my calf, my shin muscles are getting a serious workout there. So it's not just about the shoulders, but also all around here, again, with no weight belt to help you out. Means that your body's having to use a much lighter weight, a much more controlled exercise, and really engaging the core muscles, making them fire a lot more, making them a bit more ready to engage and support your spine. You're certainly where your nerve comes out of your spine. Doing it with a big heavy weight straight up and down is not bad, but I think if you're not quite ready for doing a heavy weight above your head, I would say stick to one arm dumbbell pushes. That'd probably be the best, because it's just straight up and down. There's no twisting, there's no rotating, there's no shear force like that. So yeah, one-handed, straight up, as controlled and as stable as possible. Now, one of the potentially safe options that everyone would think, if you've got a herniated disc in your back, doing bench press is fine. You're just using your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, maybe a bit of your abs, but it should be the best. So flat bench is what you want to do. Incline bench, you're just squishing down on your spine with a bit of weight, and it's not that good. However, what I would say is you've got to be careful with the weights that you're using. Again, if you're doing powerlifting style of bench, where you're really arching your back, so if you're just lying flat, with not much of a curve in your back, then that's absolutely fine. You'll be using a lighter weight, but again, remember keeping your shoulders back, and there should still be a gap there. The powerlifting style is where you bring feet up, really arch the back, have it going there. Now this is putting a lot of strain on the thighs, bringing it all the way up here, causing tension in the lower back as well, and really you're curving your back a lot here, so I can get full arm underneath and shoulders right back. And this way, although you can lift a heavier weight, your arms are moving less like that. I don't even like doing it that much. That actually compresses your spine quite a lot. So I would recommend, if you're doing bench, don't do the powerlifting style. Just try and keep your back just a very gentle arch, not really bringing your feet back. Maybe just have your feet flat on the floor, not curved up behind you. Just flat on the floor, just shoulders back. Maybe a slight tense of the bum cheeks, but no massive arching going on. And you just want it to be focused more on your arms, shoulders, and chest. Although I said don't do incline bench, that doesn't mean don't do any incline bench. Again, like what I did in the previous exercise with the shoulders, unbalanced incline bench, I would say, is okay, because you're not just, whenever you're lying here, there's the weight pushing down on your back, and because you're sitting down effectively, or the seat is sometimes just pushing your hips up, you're not engaging your core whenever you're doing a bench, an incline bench press. But if you get your dumbbell and do one-armed dumbbell presses, you can do them incline. Again, you're probably not going to go for a heavy weight because you're really needing to balance, but even here I can feel this side of my tummy, although it's quite fat and squishy just now, really engaging whenever I do this exercise. And yeah, I can definitely feel it in my lower back muscles having to really work rather than just sit there whenever doing unbalanced incline dumbbell presses. Or if you want to be really, really hard, go 1 foot as well. 1 foot. Figure out which one's harder for you. But so far, that's the only exercises which I'm really finding are okay at the moment. I'm still fairly fresh, getting back, as in, no, that's not the right word. I'm still fairly, I'm still just kind of getting back into the weights, so there may be different exercises that I'll figure out that work better in the future. But certainly these ones are ones which aren't irritating the spine. These are the ones which are at least giving leg, butt, core, upper back workouts with not too heavy a weight. Certainly the front squat, I think, is just absolutely fantastic for like a full body workout, gets your heart rate through the roof. There's no cheating with the beltless, no-handed front squat. That's like the absolute creme de la creme of weights. If you can lift a heavy weight on that, that's amazing. Again, if you're using your hands, your elbows can start to drop, and you can end up just like holding it almost like a shoulder press. And if you do back squat with a belt, you're just having lots of things that help you put on more weight, but not necessarily make you significantly stronger overall. Like, it may make your legs stronger if you're lifting a heavier weight, but you'll be neglecting other parts of your body, and you're potentially not using your core quite as much when you're having it assisted with a belt. So yeah, I would say go raw, as in beltless. Do unbalanced exercises, one arm at a time, dumbbell. I've only bought myself one dumbbell for getting back into the weights. One dumbbell, one barbell. And just work on core, balance, unbalanced exercises, and don't try and go heavy. There's a phrase, leave your ego at the door, especially when you've been injured. Work on technique, work on maybe repetition, building up your higher rep volume. I'm currently working on like my bench press, trying to do about 30 reps on 50 kilograms. I managed 30 the other day, trying to get that even higher. It causes a lot of pain, but just all in the chest, so that's what you want. But yeah, so if you are suffering from sciatica and you think you'll never be able to even walk again, chances are you will. Pretty much everyone I know has recovered from it, and there's one person I know that had spine surgery twice, and she's back to running again. For all you guys out there, the woman that I know that had the bad back, she said sciatica was worse than childbirth. So if you're dealing with sciatica, if you're a guy and you're dealing with suffering with sciatica, you can tell your wife this is worse than childbirth. Fact. The thought of having childbirth or giving birth and having sciatica, that would be, you'd want to just be knocked unconscious for that, I think. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm off to finish my workout before the rest of the day. So morning workouts, good time to do it. Your spine's probably in its least compressed position. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Okay, that's the end of the video. Speak to you later. Bye. I'll call that my max for today.